See it played. Death Ride Hafid Ridge actions. So this action is the eastern fight of the historical scenario showdown at Hafid Ridge. Basically that fight there. Using historical German forces that I've set up, surrounded by close in defensive belts of mines and wire, forces dug in, multiple fortifications, some forces in reserve. And on the British side, we have this battalion, 3 companies, this battalion right here. With Alpha Company here, Bravo Company here, Charlie Company here, and some artillery, and yeah, the 4th Royal Horse Artillery, and this is the brigade headquarters. Since the battalion I'm fighting with, so the battalion's attacking north, these 2 points under German control, because the battalion here is going to have the brigade headquarters in play, this is going to give me an opportunity to fold into the play here the basic command and control rules, which I think is basically just command radii and units out of command radius being marked out of command. And we'll look at those as it goes, as the play progresses. We're going to start off here with air allocation phase. Okay, so no air missions this turn. Germans are in their defensive position. No issues. They're not going to do anything, so we're going to skip right through the German turn. We're going to get to the British Army turn, and the first phase is the command and control phase. So we'll look at that first. So this is the command and control relationships play aid. Very handy. So this is our brigade headquarters, and this is the battalion headquarters that we're playing with in this action, the 6th RTR, and these are the 6th RTR combat units. So this tells us that the 6th RTR combat units must stay within 7 hexes of their battalion headquarters, and the battalion headquarters must stay within 13 hexes of the brigade headquarters. Not reflected here on the play aid, non-affiliated units must be able to trace a path no more than 13 hexes to any headquarters. Artillery that is in command and control may fire in support of units whose headquarters they have command and control linkage with. Okay. So this is a tank battalion, 6th RTR. We're going into the operations phase where we do, in any order as chosen by the player, we conduct maneuver actions, mobility and survivability actions, fire support actions. I guess those are the key ones. So of the different kinds of maneuver or different forms of movement, we're just going to be conducting regular movement to advance on the Germans here. Again, I'm using a zone, by the way, of the center of the map here. So I'm going to keep artificially, it's an artificiality, but I'm going to play within this zone. So I do think that I'm going to try to engage the front here, but actually send a powerful force and try to get around. Okay, send a force here to engage the front. We send a powerful flanking force to try to get around this flank. and attack that way. Don't have a lot of room for maneuver here, but we'll use what we can. This still does seem to be an open flank here. All right, so I'm going to walk through this first opportunity fire. The first platoon of Bravo Company advanced to here, which at this hex, the tanks just came within range of the primary weapon system of the German anti-air platoon right here. Right there. Has a primary range of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a long shot, but we'll walk through it nonetheless. It has a primary weapon factor of 6. So let's first walk through the fire table. Not the fire table, the firepower table. There, firepower table. Okay. This is a tank battalion again, so we're talking all medium targets, but the little orange dot behind the 7 there. 7 is the defensive rating of the tank platoon there. The orange dot looks orange to me. I don't know if it's supposed to be brown, but I keep saying orange because it looks orange. But I guess it could be brown. Well, anyways. It's a medium target. Okay. So, again, the medium target, start at the top here. Medium target, the Germans are firing their primary weapon at long range, and they are a German unit with plus. That's the anti-aircraft platoon right there. After the fire factor 6/6, there's a plus. So it's a German unit. It's a German plus unit. So we use this line. So it's 1.5 for the fire factor. What do they call it? The primary weapon factor. Primary weapon factor is 6. 1.5 of that is 9. So it's 9 to 7. 9 to 7. I'm sure that's 1 to 1. All right, that's 1. So that's 1. So we go to the fire table. We're going to be using the 1 column. Now, the real problems right away is we go to our die roll modifiers. This is opportunity fire. So right off the bat, it's -3. Other than that, target is not adjacent. The weapon, it is a plus weapon versus medium, but it's 9 hexes away, not less than 7. The Germans are not suppressed. You're not firing. Germans are not firing from more than 1 hex phase. They are firing to a lower elevation, though. Germans are on the hill, firing down on the desert floor there. So they do get a +1 for firing at target on lower elevation. So +1, it's not higher elevation. Defenders not dug in, not in fortification. The firing unit is not making a designated withdrawal, not firing during night, no wire, no mine in the target hex, no close air support, opportunity defensive fire -3, not firing after moving. So it's +1, -3 for net -2. So we need to roll really well, and 4 is not good. 2 on the 1 column is no effect. So that opportunity fire was no effect. I'm going to mark the German platoon for now because it has conducted opportunity fire against this platoon. The platoon is going to move on, but that platoon cannot conduct opportunity fire against this stack unit/stack for this phase, for this entire phase. So the platoon's going to continue heading north. So the British tank platoon is now at 18 or 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. At 20 movement points expended at this point, has 2 movement points remaining because it has a movement allowance of 22. I'll just say right now that I've learned enough to know that the German anti-air platoon cannot conduct another opportunity fire against this unit/stack. However, it only fired with its primary weapon. What I don't know is if this unit advanced to within the short range of this platoon, could this platoon then fire its secondary weapon system at that unit/platoon? I don't know. It's implied no in the rules here, but I haven't seen anything definitive. But I do think as I learn more about the system, that will either I will find clarification or that'll kind of work itself out, I guess. In any case, the British tanks reached this point, which is within primary range of these panzers here, the panzer platoon here. They are not on the high ground. So they're going to conduct opportunity fire against this unit. Their primary weapon factor is 4. I'll go ahead and point this out now. For the German panzers there, the -3 DRM penalty for opportunity fire means that on the 0.5 column, they cannot get a result. So they're not going to fire. But I just want to point out, so far I have not run across any automatic results, like a natural 10 being automatically a hit or anything like that. So simply on this column of the fire table, right there, they can't possibly get a result, because even if they roll a 10, -3 is a 7, which is no result. So no opportunity fire now. They can go one more hex, so they do go one more hex. I'm checking to see if they're within secondary weapon range of the panzers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. They're one hex beyond the secondary range or short range of the panzers. Short range for the secondary weapon of the... Oh. Yeah, well, in any case, they're not within short range of the panzers. So the lead platoon got as far forward as possible unscathed. So the next British tank platoon moved up here, which is the extent of its movement allowance, which is also the point at which the tanks just moved to within 6 hexes of the German anti-tank platoon, which held its fire until now so that it could get that bonus for firing against a medium target at less than 7 hexes away. Now, normally the rules say that enemy units block line of fire, which is interesting because it makes it look like this platoon blocks line of fire to this unit. Now, not in this case, because there's an exception, because this is a medium unit. The tanks here that just moved, they are a medium unit. They can be seen through other enemy units. That makes sense. What doesn't make sense is why, for opportunity fire, this unit, putting the exception aside for medium units, putting the exception aside, and if these were other units, why for opportunity fire would this unit block fire to that unit? Because the rationale for not having line of sight through enemy units is to make defenders attack the closer threat. But in an opportunity fire sense, this isn't necessarily the closer threat. I don't know. I don't know. I will address that, or not address. I'll return to that later. It doesn't apply here because this is a medium unit, so the German anti-air platoon can shoot right past these other tanks to the moving unit there. So now it's the same as the attack, the same as the opportunity fire before, except now it's going to get that +2 DRM again because it is a plus unit firing at a medium target at less than 7 hexes away. Germans rolled a 5, but the plus weapon advantage and being at elevation advantage canceled the entire penalty for opportunity fire, so it was even. So a die roll of 5 on the one column is just barely a no effect. So the last 2 tank platoons of Bravo Company came up here, which is within range of the German anti-air platoon, but not within 6 to get the +2. So it went back down to a -2. That's -3 for opportunity fire, +1 for being elevated and firing at a lower target. So it's -2. They concentrated fire at the top platoon, not at both platoons together. And they rolled very well with a 10. -2 is 8. 8 on column 1 is an S2 result. So the top British platoon there takes a suppression level 2. Suppression level 2, and now Bravo Company is done moving. With Alpha Company over here, the lead platoon drove straight ahead and actually stopped here. Stopped here because it's just short of the 6 hex range from the German anti-air platoon there, and it's outside the long range of the German panzers here. So it stopped there, so the German anti-air platoon is going to take opportunity fire against it, but does not get the +2 plus weapon versus medium bonus. Germans rolled a 6 -2 for 4, no effect on the one column, so the rest of Alpha Company is going to pull up and come under some longer range opportunity fire from the German anti-air platoon. No effect for the Germans against the second platoon to come up, but when the 3rd and 4th platoons came up, the German anti-air platoon got a good roll of 9, -2 for the -2 for the opportunity fire, the net -2, which was 7, which is an S2 for the top platoon there. Again, choosing to fire at one platoon and not the 2 together. So basically the German anti-air platoon is able to at least break up the coordinated advance of these British tank companies. The 3rd company, Charlie Company back here. Oh. So Charlie Company back here with the headquarters and support units. Charlie Company is going to follow, but echelon east behind Bravo Company there. So at least the lead units will come under longer range opportunity fire from the German anti-air platoon. So as Charlie Company advanced up there, actually the lead platoon, the Germans got lucky, caused suppression level 2 on the lead platoon there. The battalion headquarters came up to here, just outside effective range of the German AA platoon there, but I am keeping in 7 hexes. So just to recall, all these combat units of the 6th RTR must stay within 7 hexes of their headquarters. So already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, already close to the edge of the radius there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 up here. So this battalion cannot actually get too fancy with dispersed operations. Okay, the brigade headquarters moved up here. With the brigade headquarters is the supply unit, and behind the supply unit is the maintenance company. And back here is the artillery that is dismounted, has a movement allowance of 0. It is sitting there in that hex with its assigned trucks. So the next thing is I'm going to look at using the artillery to fire against the German anti-air platoon by itself. So under the fire support section of the rules, there's a section for artillery and mortars. Artillery may fire by itself as long as it fires at an enemy unit that is seen by a combat unit the artillery supports, which has a clear line of sight to the target. So we have line of sight from the farthest the northernmost platoon. The question is, just to clarify, is the Royal Horse Artillery actually supporting this entire battalion, the 6th RTR, and how do I know that? Okay, so I'm not entirely sure what the answer to that question is, but maybe this statement from the rules is the closest I'm going to find right now. Artillery, and I'm repeating this, I actually mentioned this earlier, artillery that is in command and control may fire in support of units whose headquarters they have command and control linkage with. So what does having linkage with mean? If it doesn't mean, to go back to the command control relationships, the 4th Royal Horse Artillery, right here, falls under the brigade headquarters, 7th Armored Brigade, which has a C2 relationship with 6th RTR, and these are the combat units calling for fire or receiving the support of the 7th Royal Horse Artillery. If this is the linkage that they're talking about, maybe. Maybe. Okay, I'll assume that's true. So the Royal Horse Artillery, with a primary weapons range of 35 hexes, is going to try to do some damage or suppress that German anti-air platoon. The result of the artillery fire was no effect, but that is solely because the anti-air platoon is in a fortification, giving that minus four die roll modifier. And that is the British operations phase.